In the sample domain 2 question, we're asked about the AWS shared responsibility model, and specifically what the customer is responsible for under that model. The shared responsibility model represents AWS's idea that some things that you do in the AWS world are managed by AWS. It's their responsibility to keep those parts of an architecture secure. But there are other parts that you as the user are responsible for keeping secure. Or in other words, the responsibilities are shared. You have certain responsibilities and AWS has certain responsibilities. The shared responsibility model is often discussed in the context of security. What things do you need to secure and what things will AWS secure for you? That distinction is something like the division of responsibilities in a construction project. If I were building a skyscraper, I would want to know that I was building on a very level foundation. If the foundation that I'm building my skyscraper on is crooked, it doesn't matter how straight the building is that I build on top of it, it'll probably slide off that foundation sooner or later. And likewise, if I build on a very level foundation, but I build a very crooked building on top of it, it won't be long before that falls over too. So what we want is both a level foundation and a level building built on top of it. So with that, let's look at our available answers. Are we responsible for the physical security of data centers under the shared responsibility model? Well, no, that's going to be AWS's responsibility. They're going to make sure that the physical data centers are secured. AWS does not announce publicly where they build their data centers specifically. There's no big sign out front that says AWS data here. So that's AWS's responsibility. That is not a customer responsibility. How about security of the cloud infrastructure? That, once again, is an AWS responsibility. The networking, the hardware, the physical locations, that's all stuff that AWS is going to manage for you. How about security in the cloud? Well, that does remind us of the actual AWS shared responsibility model documentation, which says that AWS is responsible for the security of the cloud, while a customer is responsible for their security in the cloud. So security in the cloud is a very AWS way of thinking about these ideas. That one sounds very likely. But for completeness, let's look at D, maintenance of underlying hardware. Again, not your responsibility in AWS. You'll never see your hardware, you'll never touch your hardware. Replacement of broken equipment, maintenance of hardware, that's one of the things that you're trying to get out of by using a cloud platform like AWS. So physical security, security of the cloud infrastructure, maintenance, all things that AWS will handle for you. What you're responsible for when building in AWS is the security of the resources that you build, or in other words, your security in the cloud.